place that is governed not by politics, not by money, not by power, but by those four simple words: equal justice under law. Yes. Now, 3 years ago, I came here to deliver a warning about how that promise is under threat. And I talked pretty bluntly about how we are losing the fight over whether our courts will remain a neutral forum, faithfully interpreting law and dispensing fair and impartial justice, or whether the rich and powerful interests will completely capture the judicial branch. I talked about how year after year, for more than 30 years now, powerful interests have worked to rewrite the law and tilt the courts to favor billionaires and giant corporations. We talked about cases that protect giant businesses from accountability, cases that made it harder for individuals to get into court, cases that gutted long-standing protections for consumers to keep them from being cheated, and cases like Citizens United, which unleashed an avalanche of billionaire super PAC dollars and secret corporate money in a mad dash to tilt the rest of government in favor of the wealthy. And today, I am here to update that warning, because what we've seen over the past 3 years, accelerating over the past 3 months and even the last 3 weeks, is alarming. Powerful interests are now launching a full-scale assault on the integrity of the federal judiciary and its judges. Now, this assault has two major elements. First, tearing down our centuries-old process for appointing judges. And second, viciously attacking judicial nominees, potential nominees, and even sitting federal judges at the first sign that they might put the rule of law above devotion to the rich and powerful. Now, earlier this week, I released a comprehensive report on the Republican campaign of obstruction against President Obama's nominees. It details how Senate Republicans have delayed or blocked votes on key nominations throughout the entire Obama presidency. The purpose of this obstruction is to try to hold open federal positions for as long as possible. The purpose is also to hamstring the president's ability to protect consumers and workers, to hold large corporations accountable, to promote equality. In other words, to undermine the fundamental principle of equal justice under law. The centerpiece of that strategy has been a blockade of federal judicial appointments, and it is much bigger than just the United States Supreme Court. From the day President Obama was sworn in, Senate Republicans have used every procedural tool at their disposal to try to slow down his nominees. They spent months abusing the filibuster in a naked effort to preserve a right-wing majority on the DC circuit. And after capturing the Senate in 2015, they've just slowed judicial confirmations down to a trickle. Judicial emergencies multiply, cases pile up, courts are starved for help. And now the Supreme Court of the United States sits paralyzed, unable to deal with its most challenging cases, all because extremist Republicans who reject the legitimacy of President Obama are determined to make certain our courts advance the agenda only of the wealthy and the powerful. It is outrageous, and it is up to us to fight back. Republicans, do your job. Give district court nominees their votes. Do your job. Give circuit court nominees their votes. And do your job. Give Merrick Garland his vote. That's right. The nominations blockade is just the first part of the assault on the judiciary. But there is a second, even uglier line of attack: intimidation. Now, justice demands a judiciary that's made up of independent lawyers who can provide insight and expertise from every corner of the profession. But Senate Republicans and their big business allies don't like nominees whose resumes reflect insufficient devotion to the interests of the rich and the powerful. So they smear them. Defense lawyers, public interest lawyers, plaintiffs' lawyers. Nominees with these professional experiences are just regularly slandered. Their integrity is questioned, and scores of Republicans just automatically line up to oppose them. Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama has attacked the integrity of several of President Obama's nominees. For what? For having some association with the American Civil Liberties Union, apparently being connected to an organization whose principal purpose is to defend rights guaranteed by the Constitution is an automatic disqualification. Sessions vowed that the nominations process would become, and I got his quote here, a more contentious matter if we keep seeing the ACLU chromosome as part of this process. And he meant it. During her confirmation hearing to be a district court judge this year, Senator Sessions just plain insulted Paul Azinas, a former federal public defender and a civil rights lawyer who worked on cases, among others, of police abuse. So he asked the question whether or not she could assure the police officers that might be brought before your court that they'll get a fair day in court and that your history would not impact your decision-making. I just want you to guess how many times Senator Sessions has questioned a fancy corporate defense lawyer, asking if they would assure victims of fraud or people poisoned by toxic wastes or people injured by shoddy products or employees who were fired illegally because they tried to join a union, if they would get a fair day in court. Judge Zenas was rated unanimously well qualified by the American Bar Association, yet she was barely confirmed, with nearly 36 Republican senators voting against her. This approach is corrosive to the legal profession. It is corrosive to our courts. It is corrosive to the rule of law. And it is the responsibility of every lawyer, no matter who their clients are, to stand up and fight back.